So we're gonna start on the beginner series of a garden style bouquet. We're gonna go through a bridesmaid and a bridal bouquet. This I'm gonna do free form, but a little bit more organic and crescent shape, and show you how to do that without chicken wire. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But other than that, we're gonna get started. So I get started by pulling my recipes I've already created within my software that I use, which is Detailed Flowers. This helps me know what flowers to order and what to pull. I'm typically pulling my bouquets, anywhere from 2 to 3 days in advance. That way that we're on top of things and that we're organized. For this bouquet specifically, I've got some white stock. I have some blue thistle. I have some tansy yarrow. I've also got some spray roses and some white Lizzie. For the greenery, we're going to be using a mixture of silver dollar, some seeded euc, some spiral eucalyptus, and some acacia. And like I said, we're going to be doing a free form. So if you're having trouble with the free form in the advanced, we will be doing a chicken wire form. So I'm cleaning all of my stems off that are going to be in the place where the bridesmaid would hold her hand, to make sure that when we're able to wrap our ribbon, that it looks nice and clean. That is super important. It's also important that you don't have any of your mechanics showing. So those are my 2 pet peeves. So we've got a little bit of spiral done. Let's go into the silver dollar. We're going to cut. So again, 50 flowers, or if you're on the wholesaler side already, Farm Exports is who provided all the flowers for these beautiful designs. They also provided my tools. So I'm like in love with these bunch cutters. It is nice to have good, sharp, clean snips for any design that you're making, because you don't want to crush the stem. You want to make sure that it's well cut. We are going to save all the little breaks, so we'll just cut them off. And those can go for boutonnieres or corsages, anything like that afterwards. Because you don't want the bottom of the bouquet to be too bulky. Then it starts to look really funny, and it makes it actually harder to work with. So we're going to do 2 stems of this. And I'm not working in an odd, yes, I know this is 2 stems, but there's so many balloons on here that nobody will ever know. For this tansy yarrow, I'm just gonna cut it of where I would like to use it. Lots and lots of breaks. So we're gonna take advantage of that. Again, just kind of cleaning it up so that there's not a ton of extra greenery. I like greenery, but I like it to be in the places I want it to be. And then we have some of the white Lizzie. So again, just gonna kind of clean that up. One, 2, 3, 4, we'll do 5. For this one, the bridal bouquet is going to be a little bit more round, but still organic, just because for the bridesmaid bouquet, it's going to be a little bit more round and less crescent shape, because we're going to keep that specifically for the bride. So when you're designing, the best way to do is actually in a spiral. So you don't want to cross your stems in like an X formation, because what happens is when you go to wrap them, then you'll end up crushing the stems and breaking them, and they'll end up dying, and you won't have a very happy client at that point. So just kind of going along with the stems and making sure that we are not crushing them, but they're staying within that spiral. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the spiral eucalyptus. And I start with my bulkiest flowers first. So we're gonna start with the stalk. And just put it in there, kind of clustering at least a couple of them together. And then because there's so many blooms on this guy, we're gonna go ahead and just pop him in one. I'm gonna do one on the front and one on the back. And usually on my bouquets, I do make a front and a back, but I still make sure that the back looks beautiful in case it gets captured in the day. I'm gonna go on to the Lizzie next because it's got some beautiful blooms going on. It almost, I mean, they're huge. And they're so fluffy and soft. Sometimes for me, what I'll do is we actually have a mirror in the shop and I'll design in front of a mirror, or I'll design and then I'll turn and check to the mirror to make sure that I'm keeping the shape that I would like and that I'm making sure it's even. We're gonna go ahead and go on to the spray roses. I'm just gonna tuck it in any holes that I'm seeing. So we're just gonna tuck it down low. And usually I make, again, the bridesmaids bouquets are gonna be smaller than the bride's bouquet. Gonna pop this in for some texture. And pop this little guy down low. And there you have it. So that is a bridesmaid's bouquet. Now we need to, I personally like to use some the waterproof tape because I feel like it holds really well. Some people use zip ties, some people use binding wire, but this seems to work the best and it's less invasive on being able to hide with the ribbon. So again, just kind of tying it around there, making sure that it sticks tape to tape. And we're gonna go ahead. I always have a special pair of ribbon scissors. Super important. You know, I can find, it's my front of the bouquet. So I'm gonna measure about 1 yard. And we're just gonna wrap it around twice so that we can really hide that mechanic. We're gonna make sure that it's nice and tight. And we're just gonna knot it. So after that knot, I make sure that all of the ribbon's cleaned up. That's why the ribbon scissors are super important. And you can do it straight across or you can do it at an angle, that's just a preference. And then we're gonna make sure to clean up the stems, not keeping them too long. Rule of thumb is typically about 1.5 hands, depending on the size. And then I use a little 7-inch cylinder to transport them in. So that seems to help, and I leave it there with the bride, especially we're here in Texas, so it gets really hot, and making sure that all the blooms are fresh and beautiful when they arrive on site. So please let us know if you have any questions about the bridesmaid bouquet.